everyone, my name is Hannah and I am a nutrition educator with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Jefferson County. Today I'm going to show you how to make a great version of a family favorite, and that is going to be chicken nuggets. So the version I will be showing you is baked, so it can decrease your fat intake but can also give you a much better texture. It will stay really crispy and crunchy, which is a great feeling when you bite into a nice chicken nugget and it's crunchy on the outside, tender on the inside. This has all of those. It also uses really common ingredients, so the breading is actually going to be made out of a cereal, so an unsweetened cereal. This also makes it really easy to make it gluten-free or customizable based on your family's preferences. You can also customize it by adding some spices, so a great way to utilize all those spices that you have in your cabinet is going to be to add them to the breading and just give you a much more flavorful little piece of goodness. So let's go ahead and get started. First, preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Next, gather all of your ingredients. Next, I'm going to cut up my chicken breast into nugget-sized pieces. So I'm using boneless, skinless chicken breast because I find that it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit of a faster process. If there's a great sale on bone-in thighs or something like that, you could easily do the deboning yourself. The nice thing is you're going to break it up into such small pieces, so it's okay to start with smaller cuts. So before I actually cut the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and try to remove as much of this kind of visible fat as possible. And I'm using a big chef's knife for this. You could definitely use a smaller knife or even scissors if that makes you feel more comfortable. But I feel like when I have a good grip on my knife, I'm very much in control. So then once I have it pretty well cleaned, I'm going to go ahead and just cut it into nugget-sized pieces. And so I want them to all be about the same size so that they will cook at the same rate. Now that I have my chicken cut up into nugget-sized pieces, I'm going to want to make sure to wash my hands really well before moving on to the next step of creating the breading for our nuggets. Now that I've sanitized my surface after cutting my meat, it's time for me to go ahead and prepare the coating for our crispy chicken nuggets and what will actually make them kind of crispy. So the fun thing about this recipe is it uses cereal, which is pretty common and very nice if you don't have breadcrumbs lying around. So for this recipe, I'm using crispy oats, but you could use corn flakes, you could use Rice Krispies. You just want to make sure that whatever you're choosing is very low or has no added sugar. You can use the nutrition facts panel to find a cereal with little or no added sugar. And you're going to put 4 cups in a gallon-sized bag like I've done here. Then you want to make sure that you push all the air out of it. If you don't, it could pop and make a huge mess everywhere. So pushing out all the air, as you crush it, you might have to let more air out. Then we're just going to go ahead and break it down. So we want it to be small enough that it's kind of like what you would expect on the coating of a chicken nugget. This is a really great if you have kids cooking with you. This is a great part for them to do. If you have a rolling pin, I like to use a rolling pin. It gets it done a little faster, but it is also very therapeutic, kind of like popping bubble wrap to sit here and crush your cereal pieces up. So however you get it done is great. I keep going until it's all about smallish chunks. Right? So maybe about this size here, if you can kind of see. It's not completely powder, but it is smaller pieces. And you'll be able to see it a little bit better once I have it on my chicken nuggets. If you don't have a large Ziploc bag or you're trying to reduce your use of plastic bags, you could also do this in a big bowl and either use your hands to crush it, or if you have the bottom of a cup would work really well. Something like that would be a fine substitute as well. Okay. So to give my chicken nuggets a little bit of extra flavor, I like to actually add some herbs and spices into my breading. So today I'm going to be using Italian seasoning and some cayenne pepper. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of each in there. You could add a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how flavorful you would like it to be. And you can definitely experiment with what kinds of flavors you like. Again, this is a great one to have your kids involved with. Let them smell the spices, see if they think it would be good on a chicken nugget. Or you could just leave them plain and they'll still be really delicious. Once you've got them added in, you can just kind of mix them around a bit more. And then we'll go ahead and move on to our next step. So now comes the fun, messy part. We have our chopped chicken. We have our bag full of crushed cereal. Now we need to make the coating that will allow our crushed cereal to stick to our chicken. So we're going to crack 1 egg into a bowl. Then I've got my ½ cup of milk. Go ahead and add that. And go ahead and whisk it together. Right, it'll be kind of a pale yellow color. We just want to make sure it's fairly well mixed. Now for this part, we want to keep one hand clean and one hand's going to be our dirty hand. So with our dirty hand, take a couple pieces of raw chicken. I usually do maybe 6 at a time. Mix them around, get them nice and coated with our egg milk mixture. Then we can use our clean hand to support our bag with the cereal. Just go ahead and drop them in. And it is pretty messy, so the closer you can get to the bowl, the better. At this point, if you have someone helping you, you can seal up the bag and they can shake it around. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do it one-handed. Oops. Feels I have a leak in my bag. I'm gonna brush that off and it'll be fine. So once it's all coated, I can go in again with my dirty hand and pull them out. You can see it's nice and coated. So just repeat. You want to make sure you're either using a non-stick pan or a pan that has been sprayed with oil. Okay. And it does help to remember how many pieces you put in your bag. Right, so there's my 6, and I'll just go ahead and repeat that process. Now that I have all my chicken pieces prepped and on this tray, they are going to go into our oven for 10 minutes. It's now been about 13 minutes, because we got some bigger pieces here. I'm going to go ahead and take the temperature. I'm just going to go right into the center. One of my bigger pieces. Oh, and then it just goes right up to 167. Which is great. This is poultry, so I wanted it to be at 165. I'm going to take some pieces, some temperatures at the front and the back of my thicker pieces, just to be doubly sure, but these look great. I'm going to go ahead and let them cool before I enjoy them.